Welcome to Mum Abroad's YouTube channel, where I'm joined today by Dr. DiMatteo. She holds a doctoral degree in pedagogical leadership from Texas A&M University and a master's degree in school administration, public administration, and school counseling. Her fields of specialization include change leadership, innovation, and wellness. She has held leadership positions for over 20 years in 5 international schools and is dedicated to creating an inclusive whilst high-achieving environment in schools. Dr. DiMatteo is currently head of the American Overseas School of Rome. She's also the mother of 4 children, 2 of whom attend the school. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, it's good to see you, Jane.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
You have over 550 students at the school. Roughly 1/3 of the students are American, 1/3 Italian, and the remaining third are made up of 50 different nationalities. So I was wondering, with so many different nationalities, how does the school manage to form a cohesive community of students?
So I think most of it starts with our curriculum, which is a very international curriculum. We work to ensure that no one nationality is fully represented in the curriculum in what's being taught. So for us, being in Italy, European history is one of the foundational aspects of our humanities curriculum. When we look at our English department, the choices of text range from US-based contemporary novels to more traditional long-term, what I would call the classics here at the school. Our educators do come from the United States, but they do also come from the US, or excuse me, from Canada, Australia, the British Isles, and also from the continent of Europe. So we have a wide range of teachers who give this international perspective. The other thing that we have here is a very involved parent community. So our parents have what's called a parent-teacher organization, or a PTO. It's somewhat of an American phenomenon, but what it means is that the parents come together to provide community events that are sponsored by this PTO. And the events are what I would call a celebration of our internationality. They include a UN day, and they include nationality days, nationality celebrations, and then things like a Winterfest or a Mayfair, where the community comes together. And the nice thing about that is that everyone blends and talks. And yes, the mode of communication, the medium, is generally English. But there are always nationality groups, because we have such a diverse group. There are always nationality groups that speak over 20 languages, including Spanish, Portuguese, French, Mandarin. And so there's a wide range of parents that all come together to support the school. And I do think that's a unique aspect of the American Overseas School, is that while we are somewhat American, we also are very primarily international in our nature. And then finally, I would say our students are involved at such a high level in collaborative work. And that collaborative work means that we all see each other's perspectives. It's not purely an American perspective. In fact, I would say it's almost a true international perspective. And then having the IB at the higher levels also ensures that we do have students learning a wide breadth of very rigorous content.
So the school offers an American curriculum for pre-K to grade 12 students. And I was wondering, what level of English do students need to have to be accepted at the school?
So we have a very intensive and a very highly professional English as an additional language, or EAL, or some call it ESL program. We have 5 teaching professionals that work on small groups with students. So in fact, if a parent comes to us and their child is not proficient in English, they have the opportunity to learn an intensive course right from the first day of school, almost one-to-one with our EAL specialists. So I would say that in the higher grades, we do need to have a high level of English proficiency, I would say in 11th and 12th grade. But in almost up to 10th grade, we provide one-to-one support so that parents who have children who English is not their native language, they pick that up very quickly. And the mother tongue is important, of course, but the language of instruction and actually the language on the playground here, what we call like the social language of the school, is English. And then the only other thing I would say about that is we have what I would call it more of an English curriculum rather than an American curriculum. We use a program called Arrow, and what it is it has some of the standards of the American curriculum, but for the most part, the content is purely international. And we do have some educators who are coming from, we have English and Irish, and I would say educators who come not just solely from the US, and they give this perspective. All of the content is taught in English in beyond the language classes, but the perspective is very international.
And what other languages are taught at the school?
At this point, we teach Italian, and we have an Italian native program at the school, so students can have a bilingual diploma. We also offer a bilingual diploma in Spanish and French, and we have a very strong program in those two languages, taught by what I would consider some of the best educators in the world. Their scores on our international exams uh, far exceed the world average. And we have sort of a one-to-one program when it comes to the exam time so that we can ensure those who want a dual certificate, whether it's Spanish and English, French and English, Italian and English, they can receive a bilingual diploma.
Kristen, you offer the International Baccalaureate Diploma Programme to students who are in grade 11 and 12, so that's the oldest students at the school. How does the academic program differ from the American high school program?
Well, the International Baccalaureate is a rigorous, internationally recognized program that has been in place since the 1960s. And what we call it the IB, or the International Baccalaureate, offers is a wide range of what university level 2-year courses. And the teachers have to be trained in the IB. They have to know how to teach the IB. And it offers a depth of content, but also a depth of thinking that far exceeds a traditional, what we call American diploma. At the same time, we also offer what's called the Advanced Placement Diploma, which has an American College Board SAT background, but students get university credit for those courses as well. And those can start as early as 9th grade here. So a student can start to take university level courses depending on their level of knowledge and their ability. It really depends upon their developmental ability. But starting at 9th grade, they can start to be advancing into the higher level courses. And what I believe with the IB is that it's not just anyone can achieve it if they can put in the work, especially at a school like ours where we have the teachers to provide the support. But it is highly rigorous, and it does require that students take classes in the humanities, in mathematics at a high level, in the sciences, and then in the arts. So it's very well-rounded. Whereas the advanced placement program, students can take what we call Calculus 1, Calculus 2, linear functions. Those courses, if you are only a math-based student, you may want to choose to take the advanced placement route. So the fortune for us is that we can offer both, and the advanced placement is recognized by all European school systems, all European universities. Most of our students who take advanced placement or international baccalaureate attend schools like Bocconi. They do attend, we've had a student that has been accepted into Cambridge University. our valedictorian. We do have students that attend the Russell Group schools, all of them. And so we have this high level, but we also have the ability to allow students to focus on one area if that's their choice. Just last year, one of our American students was accepted into MIT, and then we have another student who's been to Stanford University. So not only do students achieve at the highest level within their nationality, the university of their nationality, but also if they choose to go to the UK or to the US, they have the possibility to achieve at the highest levels.
So the school obviously has a very impressive academic record. But I wondered also what the school offers in terms of visual and performing arts to nurture creativity.
Sure. That's an excellent question. One thing about American schools is that they believe in the whole child. And what that means is that I've been working in international schools within Europe. And within Europe, it's mostly focused on the very standard academics. And then the extracurricular programs or the co-curricular programs happen outside of school. Well, in an American system, we focus very strongly on the co-curricular programs, and that would be in the arts. We have IB Visual Art, and our students just returned from the Venice Biennale, a 4-day trip where they explored all of the exhibitions and went to the museums. And then we also now have offered IB Film Studies to students who are interested in film development and film production. And then for our theater program, we have just opened what's called a black box theater, where we have progressive theater and I would say poetry readings. Almost any type of performing arts is available here at AOSR. We are opening a performance center in May of 2023 that overlooks we have a hillside amphitheater. And having all of these wonderful spaces to produce and these wonderful high-level productions means that students can be involved. And we have a tradition of theater here. Each year we have a Shakespeare festival, and all the students perform in that. All the students are a part of that, and it's a medley of the different works of Shakespeare. And then I would say also we have a fantastic band and orchestra program for students who are interested in piano, strings, brass, woodwinds, whatever it might be. Our band and music teacher is fantastic, and he puts on performances at the embassies down at Piazza di Popolo. So things are happening here always at the school. And then I would just finally briefly just mention that we have a very high level choral program for students who appreciate the choral music and the ability to perform within Rome at various venues here in Rome and in Italy.
One of your specializations is leadership and education, and you currently teach a senior seminar in leadership studies to year 11 and 12 students. Why do you think it's important for this age group?
One of our beliefs is that students should feel empowered at school, that they should feel empowered at a young age to start influencing and improving their environment. It's perhaps a little bit of a unique American style culture is that a school is a community. It's not just a place where they go to learn the classics. It's also a place where they grow to develop citizenship and to understand the underlying basics of democracy. And democracy is not passive. Democracy is an active, in my opinion, it's an active and thriving aspect of a culture. And as a woman leader, I've seen many students who I see leadership potential in who don't know exactly how to bring that to fruition. So this year, and it was on my mind for a while, I am co-leading a class, and it is called a seminar in leadership studies, in which we take a look at some of the foundational aspects of developing a vision, understanding ethics of leadership, And the reason I believe it's important is it's not, we aren't just educating students in terms of content, but we're educating students to be those future leaders. The students here are influencers, not just in a way, not just in the way they think of it as an influencer, but they're influencers, and that they will be yielding power in the future. And they need to know, if I attend Cambridge, or if I attend MIT, or if I am a student who graduates from Harvard, I have a responsibility to use the power that's been given to me, to better society. And they know this, but they aren't always clear on how to go about doing this. And the other day, a student asked me, she said, well, how will I know if I'm going against my ethics? How will I know what that means? And we have a Harkness method. It's a style of Socratic discussion. And the first thing I said is, you won't feel good. You will feel unhealthy within yourself if you are not following your ethical code. And I mean, and I'm not trying to be cynical or negative about the current leaders of the world, but it's not easy to follow an ethical code, in today's society and in today's world. And it's not easy to stick to your beliefs. And these are students who have very deep and strong beliefs, that are founded in building and bringing good to the world. And I'm just trying to help them through these discussions that they often lead. I'm not the one leading them all the time. I'm guiding them, to see how they can handle the leadership that we need for the future. And that's part of our mission statement, is to courageously make a difference in a changing society. And it's really important to me, that they see that, yes, you have the tools through your high level classes, but you also have to have these intrinsic beliefs and intrinsic tools, um, and then be willing to use them, because we need good leaders, to fulfill our school mission. You can tell I love the class. It's my favorite, and I enjoy teaching. I mean, it's definitely something that I've always felt is important as an educator, as a leader. I'm not a leader who sits in my office all day. In fact, I'm a leader who is out talking to parents and talking to teachers and going into classrooms, because I do believe in the power of education. And there's no more important part of that than making sure that our students have those tools, and that they're equipped to bring change in the future.
You have 85 faculty members who you refer to as global educators, and you've already mentioned that they come from numerous different countries. What characteristics and experience do you look for when recruiting teachers?
That's a great question. I think probably the most important thing that I do as a school leader is hire excellent teachers. If I That is the number one, in my opinion, driver of excellence in education, is having excellent faculty members. So sometimes we call them the three C's. I would say they have to be caring, they have to be committed, and they have to be highly competent. And so it's easy to find the competencies. The competencies come from having higher degrees. And we have probably 90% of our faculty have a master's degree in education or a master's degree within their field, which is equally important as having a degree in education. When we're teaching higher level physics, we need a physicist, and that's the competency. Equally important is the caring that comes within the classroom. A teacher can be competent and know all that there is to know about physics, but if they don't care about their students, the students pick up on that. They know and they see. So, one of my questions when I interview teachers is, tell me about a student whose life you feel you touched, but also who touched your life, who you made that connection with. So connection is really important in education. There's just, of all the research that you can find, the most important thing that you'll notice in education is you have to have a connection with the teacher, and the teacher has to have the connection with the student to learn at the level that we want them to learn. Students can learn, but they don't learn with inspiration, and they don't learn with passion. And I think we all know that one person who helped drive us to move into the field that we're in. And that's what I'm looking for from all of my teachers. And then the last thing is the commitment. This is a school that's not a 9 to 4 school. By that I mean teachers don't show up at 9 o'clock and leave at 4 o'clock when the students leave the school. They stay here. They work with the students. There have been Saturday study sessions for students who need to achieve a certain score on the IB in order to get into their UK uni. The teachers will go to bat for the students 100%. They work on their interview skills for the UK unis. They help them practice countless practice for the IB exams. And so they give so much. And then in return, of course, the students give back. And we have I would say almost 100% of our faculty receives some kind of accolade from the students at the end of the year at our award ceremonies. That's what makes it special. It's not just about our teachers being highly competent. It's about how much they care and they give, and then they get back in return from our students.
You have 4 children, 2 of whom are currently attending AOSR. How much do you think your position as a parent influences your perspective as the head of the school?
I think being a parent influences all aspects of education. When you're a leader, and I've been a leader before I had children, but after I had the children, and I've been through this process because 2 of my older 2 children are at university. I know from start to finish what it feels like to be a parent. And you never forget what it feels like to be a parent. And you know what it feels like in every single instance. And so it gives me this level of empathy that influences my decision making, that makes it very parent centered and very, very student centered. And I always am thinking through the lens of, would this be best for my child? Would I be happy with the decision that I'm making? Would I be feeling confident that my child is getting everything that they need? And that comes from hiring, that comes from decisions when we went through the COVID crisis. We were very committed to keeping the school open in a safe and healthy environment. Everything about that went through the lens of what would I be thinking as a parent? And it's both things. I have a child who's highly, I would call him high achieving. He's at university in the United States. And I went through the process of thinking, will he get into the engineering school that he wanted to? But I also have a student who is currently in 12th grade who's going through the IB. And he has some learning needs, and he's doing the IB. And every day I am thankful to the teachers at our school, but I'm also every day thinking about him, thinking about, can he do this? What support does he need? So I know what parents are going through. And when they come to me and when they're upset, uh, I can completely understand the feeling that they have behind it. So at a macro level, at a large scale level, when I'm thinking about decision making, whether it's to build a theater, whether it's to start a new program, I'm thinking, would this make me happy as a parent? But then when I interact at a very minute level, I'm also thinking, I understand how that parent feels. I know what it feels like to move. We moved here when my second child was a 12th grader. And every day I thought, how is this going to go? How is he going to, he's going to be upset. And I watched in awe as he quickly assimilated into a school like this, because it is, as an international school, we take new students all the time. But I went through those, long nights, sleepless nights thinking, how is this going to affect my family? So as a parent, I recognize the challenges that a move to a new country or a new school, what you face as a parent. And I think that helps me not only to make the decisions that are student-centered that benefit all students, but it also helps me when I interact with parents to give a degree of empathy and to ensure that I'm communicating clearly, and accurately and with compassion.
And finally, Kristen, how would you describe AOSR in 3 words?
We are very international. So that would be the first word. When you look behind me, you see waving students, In any class, graduating class, we tend to have flags up on the wall behind our commencement ceremony. And we tend to have at least 30 flags from different nationalities of our students. So international is the first. I would say it is rigorous. We are a school that I see it as a school that allows every student to achieve to the degree that they possibly can. So there are some students, including mine, my first student who graduated from here and went on to one of the best engineering schools in the U.S., who achieves at a very high level, who achieves far above the world average on the IB. But then my second son, my third son, who will graduate from here, I want him to graduate and I want him to succeed in the IB and to know that at the end of the day, his score was done through his work, his efforts, and the care that was brought here. And that is still a rigorous program. So to me, achievement is every student has an individual level of achievement, and we want to make sure they all get there. And then the last one would be caring. We're a school that's very inclusive. We take students from all over the world. We take students from all different types of backgrounds, and I think we bring to them a feeling that they belong here. The feeling of belonging that we get from all of our parent surveys and from our student surveys is that there's this warm and welcoming feeling at AOSR that you don't always get in other schools, in national schools. You get here a feeling right away that this is home. And that's very important as a parent to me, that any family who comes here, any mom who's thinking about coming here knows that when you come, not only will your children, but you will feel like this is a part of your home and your experience in Italy.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Kristen. I think you've given a really rounded picture of the school in terms of academics and the community, the parent community, and the teaching staff as well. I'm going to put your website address at the bottom of the screen. That's
Okay.
aosr.org. And so if anybody watching would like to find out more about the school, and also they can find your contact details there.
Yes,
So
that's
thank you. So thank you very much for joining me.
I appreciate it, Jane. Thank you for taking the time.